Good evening and welcome to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
We're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio where the music does the talking. What are we looking at today, Fred?
Well, there's a poll that has been released today that says that basically gives the state of the church in Kenya during this period, and it paints a very grim picture. And then we are also going to look at the situation in the Kirinyaga governor, Anne Waiguru's. The process of impeaching her is currently going on. We'll also take a look at that. Plus, today I'm not going to give you those useless stories. I'll give you a useful story. A story that will probably change your life.
Oh, really?
Yes.
All right. That's what we are waiting to hear from Fred today. Well, the WhatsApp number to use and join the discussion, 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316, pale Facebook na Twitter at Family Radio 360.
This friend of mine says Twitter.
Okay.
Lazima uongeze na katweng.
Okay.
Anyway, if you're from Kirinyaga, I know this is something that has caught quite a number. They caught the attention of quite a number of people, and they're following throughout the day. As an 11-member Senate committee headed by Kakamega legislator Cleophas Malala yesterday began the process of hearing impeachment motion against the embattled Kirinyaga governor Anne Waiguru. Well, today the lawyer Ndegwa Njiru grilled Governor Anne Waiguru's witness during the impeachment hearing. Kirinyaga County Supply Chain Management Director Joseph Karilas Otieno was the first witness, and he dismissed MCA's claims that Governor Anne Waiguru influenced the composition of tender committees to award mega contracts to her allies.
Move with me to the audited accounts for the last 3 years. Yes?
I'm there.
Does the company score 3?
Yes.
For how many years of audited accounts?
3 marks, 1 mark per year.
Having provided 3 years experience, 3 years audited accounts, correct? Correct or not correct, Karilas?
It is only correct as a joint venture.
I am not asking about joint venture. I'll come to that. Is it correct or not correct that we are evaluating velocity and it has 3 years?
Yes, correct.
Correct. When was the company incorporated, to just recap?
20...
Yes?
Let me confirm.
2017, right? When was the tender bidded?
2018.
2018. 3 years experience? Marvelous.
As a joint venture.
That's good mathematics.
That's good mathematics. I don't know. That lawyer is just, and there are already memes going around, and I've seen the lawyer is actually very strict. Na amekodoa macho kabisa, and we also have Karilas, who is a witness. He's also looking at him like, unasema nini? Anyway, let's wait and see. That is just the first witness from Waiguru's side, so we wait and see what really happens.
Sure.
Well, COVID-19 cases in Kenya have passed the 5,000 mark after 254 new cases were recorded today, raising the country's total confirmed cases to 5,206. In the new cases, they emerged from 4,859 samples that were tested in the last 24 hours. And as Health CAS Mercy Mungangi said, Kenya's cumulative tests now stand at 151,361.
We tested 4,859 samples, of which 254 people tested positive for the virus. Therefore, this brings to total our country caseload to 5,206. The total number of tests conducted thus far cumulatively from the beginning is 151,396,000 tests. All the positive cases are Kenyans, and we have 186 of them as male and 68 as female. And it's important to note the trend continues. Our male patients, our Kenyans, our fathers and brothers continue to be the ones who are highly afflicted with COVID-19. On a positive note, we have discharged 41 patients from various hospitals, bringing the tally of recoveries to 1,823. And our gratitude goes to the healthcare workers for the good work. However, sadly, we've lost 2 more patients to the disease, bringing a total number of those who've succumbed to 130. And our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends of those who have departed.
Well, the ministries will also conduct a training for caregivers before the rolling out of the home-based care program. And this training will be done in the high-risk counties where the program will be fast implemented.
And the training, as I've said, is targeted particularly in the high-risk counties. And this is where we will start the rollout of the home-based care protocol. In terms of training, some of you might wonder, what exactly is this training focused on? And the idea is that we're able to go to households, we're able to get in touch with the family members, take them through what it means to be eligible for home-based care. So not every single Kenyan is eligible for home-based care. There's actually a criteria that determines who would be able to be enrolled into the home-based care program. We then review the feasibility. How are you able to actually ensure that the home-based care program is working in your household? And then what are the procedures that need to be in place? How do we monitor? How shall the healthcare worker be able to engage with you to ensure that we're looking after you and your family and ensuring that you're adhering to the home-based care protocols? It is important to know that our training goes further to empower individuals and households with basic knowledge, skills, and competencies to be able to enable them to function as caregivers of COVID-19 patients.
Well, so apparently not everyone will be a caregiver, and if you have not undergone training, then you will not be allowed to be a caregiver to a COVID-19 patient. And they're saying they're basically the asymptomatic people. Yeah, but we have people who are reserved about the home-based care.
Yeah, the way we've handled, I'm not saying that Kenyans cannot handle this kind of thing, but the way we've handled the protocols themselves, I would be very, very, I would have heebie-jeebies having somebody I know basically taking care of a COVID patient. But if the patient is asymptomatic, it simply means, as WHO said, it's not, you can't pass it on that fast. Anyway, let's now take a look at the state of the church in Kenya, because the COVID-19 pandemic has presented the churches with a crisis of monumental scale and will force radical shifts in the Christian society. This is according to a report by a religious research group basically in Nakuru. According to the report released in Nakuru by Shahidi Hub Africa, church offerings and tithes have dropped by, mark this, 85%. As most institutions face financial crisis. The survey done in 33 counties involving 429 church leaders and carried out between the 22nd of May and the 20th of June revealed that 79.2% of the churches have managed to transition online, while 20.7% have not. The research was released 100 days after in-person services were stopped by the government to curb the spread of the coronavirus. On the readiness of the church to reopen for worship services, the report indicated that 79% of pastors had put in place measures to contain the spread of COVID-19. Another 21% of church leaders and pastors recommend churches remain closed until the pandemic is eliminated or the curve is flattened.
It is agreed that by over 75% of churches that members, less than 50% of their members are even online, despite heavy investment in moving to online platforms. And about 20% of churches are offline. And this can be attributed to many issues, in internet connectivity within the country, financial implications, lack of expertise in many churches, and such matters. 58% say that churches should be opened. When the churches are opened, they will be ready to put in place measures immediately. This number also accounts for the fact that many churches currently are facing financial challenges, significant percentage of churches, some of them are facing challenges paying salaries. 50.58%. So pastors are facing a lot of challenges in terms of maintaining administrative costs. Other administrative costs include churches that are on a hired church venues, and there are 13% felt that they might lose their venue.
I don't know, 85% drop in the church offering.
Yeah,
That's a major one.
that's really it probably shows the impact COVID has had on church members. If you look at the numbers of people who are losing their jobs and losing their livelihood, probably that reflects that. But at the same time, it could just be that, you know, people have decided, hey, let me adopt a wait and see kind of mentality. But that's a huge drop.
Yeah.
That's a huge drop. You can imagine the impact it's having on the churches.
Well, but we have 79% actually, according to the statistics, that are ready and have put measures. So these 79% are actually for the idea that it can be opened, apart from the 21 who are saying let the curve be flattened completely.
First, yeah.
But do you think they're going to be opened?
I think the president is expected to give an address to the state on the 6th of July.
Yes.
I think that maybe this time round we are going to see a partial opening of the churches.
All right. I feel like we should ask this question today. Well, 79% being ready and 21 saying that they are not ready and they want the curve to be flattened before the churches are opened. Which side are you in? Are you for the side that the churches can be opened, considering that measures can be put in place? Or are you for the side that we wait for the curve to be flattened? That is the 21%. 0786 316 316, that is on WhatsApp. SMS line 20316. Well, there's also a story on schools.
Yeah.
And Professor George Magoha actually today announced a number of protocols to be observed before the reopening of schools in September. He was speaking during a tour in Kilifi County. The CS directed that the maximum number of learners in a classroom would be between 15 and 20, and this move is to help enact the directives by the Ministry of Health of 1.5 meter social distancing to help curb the spread of COVID-19. Well, he further announced that teachers would be expected to report to their schools 2 weeks prior to the opening of these schools, and then each learner will also be provided with 2 masks. Listen in.
And if the children are to open in September, then between 22 and 24 million masks should be in school by mid of August this year, as per the presidential directive.
Well, you know, having 15 to 20 learners, a maximum of 20 in a classroom, with the situation in our schools.
Actually, if you look at early today, Magoha was actually trending on Twitter with quite a number of people criticizing his move.
Yeah.
But I wondered why he was being criticized, because after all is said and done, he's trying to protect our kids. And then the chair of the COVID-19 committee said that what CS Magoha is saying is very feasible, because what is going to happen is that they're not going to open the schools as in kaboom, that everybody now goes to school. It's going to be so phased, so that you have not everybody going back to schools. You might have class 8 and Form 4 people students going back to school, and then the rest as the situation gets better. So it's very feasible.
Wow. Let's wait and see how that goes down. Well, Alice is actually directing this to you. And he's saying, hello, thanking God for this far. Imagine yesterday's useless story has led me to this. I teach one of my friends from Masailand my first language, and he teaches me his first language online. So these stories are truly challenging. They're so very useful. Please, Fred, please do not stop. for the sake of Alice and many more who are listening and watching.
Noted.
It's actually very important. We have Joseph from Kiserian who's tuned in and asema, hello Fred and Sarah, I'm blessed to be tuning in and enjoying the show. On the topic today, niko kwa upande wa 21%. Kanisa zisifunguliwe. And he says, the problem is that most services won't adhere to the Ministry of Health guidelines. Ebu kumbukeni, we have churches and doctrines that advocate their wafuasis shouldn't go to the hospital. Now try and imagine what would happen with the reopening. I think the fact that tithe and offerings have gone down shouldn't be the reason churches should be opened. Wacha tutumie M-Pesa paybill number and till number. And Fred would agree it's cheaper to create a podcast and send it to the wafuasi if video streaming is a challenge. That's the view of Joseph from Kiserian. Remember, our question today is from the polls that was released, saying that 21% of churches and pastors, that is, are saying that the churches should not be opened until the curve is flattened completely. But on the other side, we have 79% of them saying that, you know what, they're ready and they have put measures into place to make sure that the Ministry of Health guidelines are followed. So, on what side do you fall? The 79% that are saying it can be opened, or the 21% that are saying we should wait until the curve is totally flattened? Well, we have this story here by Mr. Kiunjuri. You remember? The former agriculture CS, Mwangi Kiunjuri, has formally launched the Service Party of Kenya. And he was speaking during the launch in Nairobi. He promised that his new party will be a revolution in governance. Kiunjuri said TSP, that is how they refer to the party, will be a grassroots party that will not only be the voice of the normal mwananchi, but will also approach politics in the country differently.
I have faced many challenges in my life's journey, and through such times, what I never failed in is to try. I thank God He has kept me and my family well, healthy and happy to re-engage. Over the past few months, together with like-minded Kenyans, friends, supporters, and well-wishers, have had intensive listening engagement that have led us to what we are here to present to you, the entry of the Service Party of Kenya into Kenyans' politics. TSP is now a registered party in accordance with Article 38 of the Constitution and the Political Parties Act of 2011. Huduma. We believe in God and the principles of our party and the people of Kenya. Tuajiamini, Mkenya jiamini. TSP? Huduma. Huduma? Tuajiamini? Jiamini. Asanteni sana.
Well, Kiunjuri is a very interesting person. I don't mind him. I like him. By the way, I don't know about you. Did you ever send that locust picture he asked people to send during the locust invasion in the country?
Oh my God! I tried to scratch that.
Anyway, that's a story for a different day.
Yeah.
Speaker Justin Muturi has actually dismissed the motion by Nyali Member of Parliament, Muhammad Ali, that was seeking to impeach a CS, saying it lacks evidence to warrant debate and action in the House. Muturi added that while Ali provided 90 valid signatures to back his motion, he did not table evidence to back the claims of gross misconduct by the Transport CS. While the Nyali lawmaker had filed the impeachment motion for the removal of Mr. Macharia from office on grounds that the SGR cargo transit order violated Article 10(1) of the Constitution that requires public participation. The MP, however, said he will not stop there, pointing out that he will raise the matter with the members of the public.
Because they don't want us to take this motion to Parliament, we will take this motion to the public court. and we are going to give out the names of everybody who has been behind this mess of SGR, everybody who has benefited and what they have done. So tomorrow at 10 o'clock, God willing, I will share all this with the media, with the public, and we shall crucify them in the public. We are going to use the last option now that we have, picketing, and we'll make sure until they hear our voice is when we will stop.
Tunaona ni kama hii Kenya, huu upimaji ambao unaendelea hapa ni kama ambao unahusiana na usafirishaji wa makasha kwa njia ya SGR. Isitoshe, Wakenya wengi wamepoteza kazi, madereva wengi wamepoteza kazi, mafundi wengi wamepoteza kazi. Na tunarudi tena kwa Atwoli. Tunamuomba Atwoli afikirie sana na arudie ule mkataba ambao alisaini yeye na FKE tripartite tarehe 22 mwezi wa 4 2020.
It seems that nothing works in this country. The judiciary, when they give out a ruling, no one follows. Parliament, same thing.
And I think early today, earlier
than now.
Yeah, early today, MP Mheshimiwa or MP Ali, the Nyali MP, released the report that he was saying he was going to release. He was accompanied by former Machakos Senator Johnson Muthama, Kina Boni Khalwale, and Hassan Omar. And so you can almost tell which direction these things are going to go. And the names are... just leave it there. Yeah.
All right. Well, during this time, we have so many business persons being affected. And some of the businesses have actually closed down. You remember the other day we did a story about how the Central Bank of Kenya actually gave a report that's saying that 85% of businesses could actually be shutting down by the end of June. Well, what are some of the things that entrepreneurs can actually put in place? What are some of the pointers to make sure that your business stays afloat? And what are the mistakes that we do, maybe knowingly or unknowingly? I actually caught up with one, Caroline Kasimba, who is an entrepreneur, and she had this to say.
One of the challenges that a business person can face during a rough time is uncertainty. Because you're not sure what is going to happen tomorrow, especially, can we focus, maybe talk about what we are facing right now?
Yeah.
We are not sure about tomorrow. And you see, if you don't plan for it, like we have not been able to, most of us were not able to plan for COVID. So we always need to have a contingency plan. If this happens, what do I do?
Yeah.
So if you don't have a plan in place, a strategic plan in place, that is one big mistake that most entrepreneurs don't do. I have made that mistake because until when the rough time catches you, you realize, I do have a plan for it. And even if you now face it, you have to also face the situation. Do not wish it away. You have to, you're told, face your mountains. So whatever rough patch you're going through, you have to face that rough patch. Look at what can you do right now, what can be done later, and also what can be done with other people. So again, you need to surround yourself with people who can help you through that period. Because remember, as an entrepreneur, you do not work alone. You're always working with, you have a team.
Yeah.
No matter how big or small you are, you always have a team. So involve your team, face the situation that you're facing right now, and then come up with plans, mainly short-term plans and medium-term plans, especially when you're going through a rough time. You might not be able to look at the long-term plans, but the short and the medium plans to help you get through that season. So those are some of the things I think an entrepreneur can do during a very rough time.
All right, and let's talk about finances, kidogo. And during this time, our economy as a country has been affected drastically, and there so many businesses are actually recording losses, and can this be one of the challenges and major challenges, for lack of a better word, that affects most entrepreneurs and especially the small scale business persons?
Yes, cash flow can be a big challenge right now. Remember, when everything is normal, you have a period when your money comes in and how you're going to spend it. But like right now, with whatever we're going through, you're not sure when is the money coming in, if at all it is coming in. So this is the time again to look at your finances and see what can I work with right now? Are there areas we can cut down costs on? And it's not easy to cut down costs, but it comes to a point you have to really cut down on costs, do away with things that are really not core right now. And then also, again, this is the time you follow up with your customers and agree, okay, we are all facing this. How do we move forward? So that everyone has an expectation. You see, if you don't, you make your plans, but you don't communicate the same to your customer. And yet your customer is also facing the same challenge. So communicate in a way and agree. So we review our credit terms. We are either on a cash basis or we are on a shorter credit terms. Also, it's a time to look at your business. And is there anything you can tweak? Because maybe, let me use an example of people who have now been forced to go into making masks. Yet before, you are not making the masks. So if you have a good ready market for the masks and you have to put in resources in order to make those masks, then that's a good thing. So you've looked at the business, you've assessed it, and everything looks good to go and make the mask, then it's okay to resource the business, that particular plan, not everything else, because this is also not the time to get extra credit unless you have a proper strategic plan on how you're going to meet the financial obligations you're getting into. But it's really time to cut back and work with whatever it is that you have.
All right. I like the point that you put across in the first bit, and you said planning, and planning for something that is unexpected, and even a pandemic like what we are having right now is key. So apart from that, what other tips can we give to entrepreneurs to help them stay afloat whenever there is a circumstance like what we are experiencing right now?
Okay, networking is very, very important. I think for a long time, most entrepreneurs take networking as something just for a certain group of entrepreneurs. But when the networking forum, it exposes you to a lot of things. So also during this season, if you are in a networking group of maybe professionals or other entrepreneurs, you share ideas. And this is where you will find you can now partner with other people. For example, the delivery people can work with you. If you're a person who you deliver things somewhere, so partnerships. This is a very good time to look at who are the key people I can work with. Going online. Again, maybe most entrepreneurs never thought of spending money on online. And online marketing is not as expensive as we think. I think this is the time to realize. So this is the time to go online. Explore other avenues of advertising yourself during these tough times, because if you are not focused so much on online presence, well, the time again to do it.
Well, there's something that most business persons could actually be in a dilemma to do. Well, I'll give you a scenario. During this time, most customers, maybe they may not be in a position to pay you money on time. So what about giving out your products or your services for credit? Is it advisable during this time?
It depends with the kind of customer that you're dealing with. If it is a customer you have been in business for a long time, that means you have a relationship and you know how they're going to pay. So you agree beforehand. If it is a new customer, that is a very big risk. So either they give you a deposit, if it's a new customer, give a deposit upfront, and then agree also that when is the next final payment coming. But if it's someone you have been doing business with, you understand each other, you're in a relationship, it is okay to give credit. But again, it's something you agree upfront. Do not assume. Like before, you will always assume we've been doing business for a long time, they will pay. It's a tough season for everyone right now. So agree beforehand. I'll give you this service and I expect my payment at this particular time. And if possible, also have it written. It's an agreement. Not word of mouth. Not word of mouth. So that if they fail, you go back to them and said, this is what we agreed on. And then you can also look at, it can be a bit punitive, but a penalty. Don't pay on this agreed time. There's this penalty that we are going to charge you. That way the customer will want to quickly make that payment so that they do not incur this extra penalty.
Wow. All right. Well, thank you so much, Carol. It's actually a very tough time, and especially for the entrepreneurs. We hope this is going to pass soon.
It will. Everything comes to an end and something new will come.
All right. Well, thank you so much, my dear, and have a beautiful evening.
All right. Thank you too.
Well, that is Caroline Kusimba there, and one thing that Carol actually said that caught my attention today. You know, people right now are having a very tough financial time, but if you are an entrepreneur or a business person, before you give out your goods or your services for credit, make sure you know that person, and it's very much important to write it down. Write an agreement of when this money is going to be channeled or wired to your account. That's very important for especially the small scale traders.
Very true. Now I want to play you a song. You know, before I became me, when I was young, I used to do a lot of rap music.
What you call spitting.
Yeah, I used to spit a lot.
I'm a good student.
Actually, back way in K-South, where all rappers come from, they used to call me MC Fred.
What?
Yes, so I loved rap music. No.
Well, there are a couple of responses here we have, and Esi Kimenyi is saying, "Hello, coolest duo." Aww. I told you to do that last time, ukashindwa. Kufanya tu, aww. Well, anasema, thank you for the earlier song, Amazing Grace. Well, on today's topic, now since the 65 plus citizens may not make it to church even after reopening, let's just stay home until we can all go back to church together. So I'm guessing she's on the 21% side. Anasema Kinjuri's party ingeitwa selfie party. But I'm leaving it at that. Hello, Sarah and Fred. This is Kevin from Manyanja Road. I am with the 21%. Churches should not be opened because of the measures might be followed for a while, but eventually they will be abandoned, causing the curve to rise again sana. Hata Kinjuri ameanzisha party. See how these politicians take us for fools. And for a fool's ride. He wasn't able to undertake his duties as a CS. Now he wants an electoral position. This is another Waiguru in the making. Why? Kevin doesn't spare them. Thank you, Kevin from Manyanja Road. Alice from Machakos, concerning the reopening of the churches, I would still be hesitant. So I'm falling into the 21% group. My reason being that churches should go hand in hand with what is happening to education sector, because not all of them will be financially able to meet the health measures, especially the congested areas in town. Well, that is some of the views that we are getting from our listeners and viewers today.
All right.
Yeah.
And quite a number of people are concerned about the ability of not just the churches, but different sectors in the country to adhere to the protocols. And now the government will have to train chiefs from different parts of West Pokot to inform the residents who they serve about the dangers of COVID-19. Well, according to reports, most of these residents have no information at all about the virus that has affected more than 4,000 Kenyans. And to most of them, washing hands and wearing of masks is a strange phenomenon.
Na sana tuna target mpakani kule karibu na mpaka Baringo ya Pokot na Turkana, ili pia kuzuia hizi uenezaji wa maambukizi ya virusi vya COVID-19.
Sources zile PPEs tumeorder mara mingi, watu wetu suppliers wetu hawapati hizi vitu.
Tuendelee kuzingatia maagizo ya Wizara ya Afya, kuvaa masks, ile social distance, kukeep ile social distance na kunawa mikono, na ndio tumekuja na boots za kunawa mikono ili kuandika matao na masoko.
Sisi West Pokot hatutaki kusema sisi tuko na bahati, la hatujakuwa na hiyo cases ya COVID-19. We are praying 24 hours by the grace of God hiyo vitu isikuje, lakini kwa sababu policy imekuja lazima tujiandae, na inawezekana ikawa hata magonjwa mengine anyway, sababu we normally prepare. The good news kwa hii budget ambayo tumetengeneza, hii emergency budget yenye tuna adjust, tutaweza kama West Pokot County kwa mara ya kwanza kuwa na ICU beds.
Well, I happen to have friends from Pokot and Baringo, and if you listen to how they're speaking about this virus, to them hiyo ni ugonjwa wa Nairobi na Mombasa, for lack of a better. By there they'll tell you in these areas, and even we've had Governor Lonyangapuo saying the same. They're actually very grateful that there is no case of COVID-19 in any of those areas. But to them, life is continuing just the same. And these people, most of them have not gone to school. So if you tell them sanitize your hands, hey, you're a Greek, my friend. Yeah? So actually the hiring of local chiefs and the local leaders will actually go a long way. Well, talking of that, tabia mbaya, poor behavior, and religious leaders in Siaya County have actually stated that poor behavior amongst the youth in our societies is attributed to lack of good moral background. And they say that the young people have lacked proper upbringing and they have not been taught in the good morals of living life. And they actually say that most young people lack faith. Listen.
The church has not been treated with respect as God's essential point of spiritual connection with his creation. Right now, it is in the public domain that teenage pregnancies is prevalent. Defilement, domestic violence, pornography, and drug abuse has gone up because the church, which is the moral custodian, has no physical contact with the people.
Well, there we have it. Well, Fred, let me remind you, jana tulifanya International Day for the Widows.
Yeah.
They were celebrating.
Yeah.
And actually, some of the challenges that were brought up even during the interview is discrimination. They're saying that, and it happens in some of the tribes, the wife inheritance. We have people who are actually denied their rights to inherit property that belong to their late husbands. And now actually widows from Nandi County are actually saying that the government needs to step in on this and protect the widows from discrimination. Listening to their cry.
Sisi watu wajane ni watu tumesahaulika, na sisi tunasimama kama baba, kama mama katika jamii.
Tunanyanyaswa sana. Sisi kama wajane tunanyang'anywa vitu yetu ile wazee walituachia. Hakuna mtu anatuchali hata kidogo.
We had 3 sessions, a sharing session, encouragement, and empowerment session. And lastly, we donated some foodstuffs to support the women during these difficult times of corona.
Jaribu kwamba kina mama hao ya kwanza wapate kikundi, alafu tuwasaidie kupata riziki. Na ile kitu mimi mwenyewe nitafanya ni kusaidia hawa waweze kupata incubator, ndio waweze kutoa vifaranga, wajisaidie, wapate riziki.
Tangu miaka mingi hatujaona kama wajana tukiunganishwa tukiwa pamoja.
Well, some of these widows are very young.
True, they're very young, and it's sad
very unfortunate
that such things are happening.
Yeah. Well, kuna kale ka story you are telling us, but before we go to that, Vincent Mulinge from Thika is saying churches should be patient because COVID-19 won't last forever. That is Vincent Mulinge from Thika.
Is saying that churches should be patient because
this COVID-19 situation won't last forever. So he falls among the 21%.
Yeah,
all right. I think I would fall in that category here. There's no hurry, isn't there?
Yeah.
Anyway, tell us about that story.
Well, this is one of those stories that I keep on saying stories, but today's story is different. I keep on saying the stories that will not benefit you, but this one is a story that will benefit you. It's a story that will impact your life, I believe, positively. There was this Chinese wise man and his disciple who went into one of the remote parts of China, very remote place. And as they were going, they found this home, a very poverty-stricken home. The house was basically almost falling apart. And there was this man, his wife, and I think 3 kids. One look at them and you can tell them they were very malnourished. And they had a cow. Now, this cow was even more malnourished than this family. So the wise man asked this old man, why do you live here? This is a very remote place, and you're really poor. How do you survive? And the old man told him, you see that cow? Now the cow that was almost on the verge of death because ilikuwa imeisha sana. So told him, that's what we rely on for everything. We take milk from that cow, and when it has given more milk than we can use in the house, we turn it into cheese and we sell it in the market. And the wise man and the disciple, after having a conversation with the family, left. This is probably somebody from State House asking for credit. So they left, and as they were going, the wise man turned to his disciple, and he told the disciple, now I want you to go back to that home and take that cow, take it to a hill and throw it over, kill it. And the disciple said, no way, you are a heartless human being. This is the only thing that this family relies on. Why do you want me to kill it? And so after a couple of arguments, the disciple did exactly what the master told him to do. Then a couple of years later, this disciple, because of guilt, he decided, I'm going to visit that family again and see how they're doing. And tell them that I'm actually the one who murdered their cow. So when he got to the place where this family used to live, he found a mansion. And he found a couple of cars in the garage. And he found a family that was very well fed. I mean, they were actually celebrating their first $1 million. So he went, he asked a passerby, there was a family that used to live here. Where did they go? Because he believed, when he saw that, he just suspected that maybe this family got so poor and they had to sell their land so that they could survive. The passerby told him, this is it. This is the family. So he went in and he saw the old man all happy. I mean, everybody was looking good. Asked him, what happened? When we left you guys, I mean, you were so poor. What happened? And the old man said, something happened. Our cow went up the hill and somehow it went down the hill and died, fell down the cliff and died. And after that, we discovered that we had so many things that we could do to survive. We had relied on that cow. When it died, we discovered that we had other gifts, we had other talents that we could rely on. And when we started using whatever we had, this is where we are today. We are celebrating our first $1 million. So during this COVID period, there are so many things that have happened to so many people. Maybe it's just that disciple who's been sent to throw that cow over the cliff so that you can discover many other things that God has put in you that can help you live.
Wow. And that actually took my mind somewhere, and I was like, most people actually complain, I have this and this, but I want to get there and there. So how about eliminating that, what you call the cow in your life, to get to, oh my, I will not water that down, not at all. But anyway, we need to eliminate the cows in our lives. Okay. Well, did you know that Billy Graham actually voted for President Donald Trump?
Billy Graham?
Yes. He actually voted for him before he died.
Oh.
Yeah, and this was made public by the president himself during an exclusive interview where he said his government has done the most for religious communities and the silent majority. Well, President Trump also said, and this is he claimed, that most of the people who will be voting for him in the next election are what we call silent supporters.
And part of what I'm doing my best on is for the religious community, beyond evangelical. Evangelicals are a very big part. It's very important to me. You know, we have great support. I was so honored when Franklin Graham said that his father voted for me, and that was something that Billy Graham has never announced who he was voting for. But Franklin Graham said his father voted for him. He went public with it, as you know. To me, that was a big moment because I have such respect for Franklin and for the family, and Billy Graham is Billy Graham, right? But when he said that his last vote was for me, and his father never announced who he was voting for, would never talk about it. No, I think I have great support. There's a lot of hidden support.
Well, Essie actually texted in akaniambia, "Well, Sarah, you're a good listener." I'm like, who would want this to pass them, right?
True.
We all want to eliminate that cow from our lives. Well, Wangeshi did not want to be left out, and she said, I am for the 21%. Rona will pass.
Yes.
Hakuna haja ya add to the number of infected persons, because I think that's what reopening churches would do. Plus, this time is bringing us back to the foundation of Christians.
Very true.
You know? Yeah. Nani mwingine. I don't want to leave anyone out today. Well, this is Sarah from Naivasha is saying, hello, great people. Thank you so much for the topic of today. I will go with the 21%. No excuses needed or explanations. Well, thank you so much for tuning in today and for joining our discussion. Wale wa 21%, wale wa 79%. Let's wait and see how this goes. But well, thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And I'm Frederick Njiri.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.